clubs than Chelsea and Sunderland, who met at Stamford Bridge. Dennis Wise and Steve Clarke. Gullit did have a healthy counterbalance of steel to his stylish side. But there was no doubting that it was the influx of international superstars that was bringing the fans in their numbers. Peter Reid, meanwhile, believed in one star, and that was the team. United as one under captain Kevin Ball, the Black Cats had recorded victories against Manchester United and Arsenal. No question, Ruud Gullit was shaped.
Stage of the season, where games are often nervy. They're fiercely contested. 2-1 defeat at Sheffield on Wednesday. There's Di Matteo letting fly. And Lionel Perez, the French goalkeeper, grabbing it second time around. Gareth Hall from a Chelsea man. And Bridges was tripped there by Andy Myers. Sunderland free kick. Michael Gray. Steve Clarke's header. And then Petrescu's clearance. Picked up by Bracewell. And there's Bridges. Wise. Petrescu, now Craig Burley. And Zola! When they're on their game, they pass the ball as well as any team in the country. As they should, given the stellar names in their lineup. This season. Those victories over Manchester United and Arsenal, their only league win since the turn of the year. Promoted last May as champions of Division 1, 4 points clear of Derby. And for the most part, they've adjusted reasonably well to life in the English Premier League. It's just that their form before Christmas was stronger than that since. Here's Zola. Burley. Wise. And Wise lets fly! And draws an acrobatic stop from Perez. The man signed from Bordeaux. Only cost £200,000. Fine tradition of goalkeepers at Sunderland when you think back to the likes of Jim Montgomery. Save he would have expected to make. And with that left ankle. And driven wide by David Kelly. Wasn't the worst of chances, actually, for a man with an excellent goal-scoring record, many of them in the lower divisions, but who hasn't scored in 16 months for Sunderland. Ran away Petrescu. Zola! Hearted appeal from Zola that was deflected on its way through, and it should have been a corner, but Mr. Willard has said very firmly goal kick. There goes Bridges. That was the moment when Bridges might have done slightly better. Paul Bracewell with the throw. And Bridges. Well, that's twice he's had close-range opportunities with his head. Sunderland come here knowing they're not going to carve out too many chances. 5 defeats in the last 6 games for the visitors, the exception being the 2-1 win over Manchester United. Off goes Mullin. Sinclair was a little uncertain, and Mullin draws a good stop from Protogrodos. Not always at his best when dealing with crosses, the Norwegian keeper, but as a shot stopper, he's pretty useful. Melville. Bracewell. Grodors, who played it straight to Mullin. Couldn't get the ball out from under his feet to have a shot, even though the net was temporarily unguarded. Frode Grodors is at the eccentric end of the goalkeeping scale. Kubicki with the throw. Clark. Burley. And now he sets Zola motoring. Hughes is through the middle for Chelsea. Wise. Good possession this from Chelsea. And here's Petrescu. Zola! Chelsea have liftoff. And overseeing it, this wonderful Italian, Gianfranco Zola. From Petrescu's cute pass, lovely technique to keep the volley down. 7 minutes short of half-time, and Chelsea have the lead. He's been a breath of fresh air, Zola, since arriving from Parma. And Peter Reid knows his side have competed well. Competing well and competing on level terms are two different things. There's Minto's header. Then Wise. Zola. Hughes. Di Matteo. Tails up Chelsea. Mark Hughes. And Richard Ord guides it behind. And from being a well-contested first half, suddenly Chelsea are dominating, buoyed by the goal. And suddenly Sunderland's world is falling apart. 2 goals in the space of 4 minutes, the first scored by Zola, the second created by Zola. Sunderland's defensive line absent without leave. Left Sinclair all on his own, and Myers too was unmarked. 2 men over for Chelsea. Sinclair scored. Still a little chilly in mid-March for a lack of a tyre. Myers. Wise. And Andy Myers has continued his run, but the flag is up for offside. And there won't be time for very much more in this first half. Well, unlucky to be pulled back for that. But Zola has illuminated this first period, scoring the first, creating the second for Frank Sinclair. Sunderland have stuck at it, but they have been second best, and they trail 2-0. A double change by Sunderland. On come Paul Stewart and Alex Ray in place of Gareth Hall and John Mullin. Peter Reid required to take decisive action if Sunderland are to have any hope of turning this game around. Stewart certainly has an eye for goal, former England international. Ray, the one-time Millwall player. Here's Dan Petrescu for Chelsea. Zola. Look at that footwork. Well, he had a good tutor. Played at Napoli at the same time as Diego Maradona. There's a fantastic sense of balance. Quite apart from a winning smile. He's one of the very best imports into English football. Myers. Minto. Myers again. Chelsea finding some style to go with their first half substance. Wise. Frank Sinclair. Zola encouraging Petrescu to come forward. Doesn't need too much by way of encouragement. It's a great strength to his game, Dan Petrescu. Zola. Shots blocked, but there's Petrescu! And Chelsea lead 3-0. And for all Sunderland's efforts to turn the tide, the double substitution, the half-time rearrangement, it is Chelsea who get the potentially decisive third goal. Good save by Perez from Zola. Then he was helpless as Petrescu pounced on the loose ball. Cheer up, Peter Reid. Board. That was handball by Paul Stewart. Petrescu. Floated for Hughes. And it's just helped on its way by Lionel Perez. Unable to muscle the defender fully out of the way. Sunderland throw. Club with such a proud history. 6 league championships. And the shot on the turn is only just past the post from Ray. He's a midfield player with a good goal-scoring record, Alex Ray. Board. Back to Melville. Sunderland with 7 games to play in the Premier League after this, but 4 of them are at home. That will be the basis of their application to remain in the Premier League. Home results. Ball in there, and Stewart! And Sunderland have a goal back. It's Paul Stewart. Grodor's beaten. He came to try and punch a ball he was never going to get. And that left Stewart with a pretty straightforward task. Physical presence of Kevin Ball was important. Stewart has a goal, his 2nd of the season. Minto. Hughes. Ooh, that was a little late by Mark Hughes. Paul Stewart's arrival has certainly made a difference to Sunderland. We played an hour, and there's a yellow card here from Gary Willard for Mark Hughes for leaving his foot in. Kubicki. Clark's header down. Stewart with a foot in. Sinclair with the boot away. And Sunderland at last are beginning to ask some pertinent questions of Chelsea. May well have left themselves rather too much to do. Bridges. Kubicki. And ball. And Ray! That's more like it from Sunderland. Vindication of Peter Reid's double change at half-time. Both the substitutes, first Paul Stewart and now Alex Ray, have got their names on the score sheet. And from cruising at 3-0, Chelsea are now stuttering at only 3-2 up. The force is with Sunderland. Alan Durban in the background there, behind Peter Reid. Still no great concern evident on the face of Ruud Gullit. When has there been? Sunderland free kick. Visitors full of industry, if not necessarily of inspiration. It's a team very much in Peter Reid's own image. Kubicki. In goes Ord. Grodas got both fists. Gray. Too high. Michael Gray, Sunderland born. He was on the books of Manchester United, but made his league debut for Sunderland. Referee getting in the way, which is inadvisable with Dennis Wise and Kevin Bull contesting it. Here's Bridges. And Minto tidies up effectively. Zola. Ran away from Clark. Bridges. Wise. Zola. Oh, and then Sunderland switched off, and here's Mark Hughes. And Hughes has scored a fourth. Well, it's a very strange goal, in that Sunderland just seemed to go to sleep collectively. Their defence parted. Hughes said thank you very much, and may well have just won the game for Chelsea. Richard Ord couldn't get back in time. Howie. Sinclair. Gray beaten by Paul Parker. Ord. Bracewell. Did well to retain it, Paul Bracewell. He's desperately lacking in support. And Vialli looks across, there's no flag. Gianluca Vialli is onside. And so was Mark Hughes. And beyond any question now, Chelsea have their win. Sunderland committing men forward, maybe too many men, and leaving big gaps to be exploited on the counter-attack by Chelsea. And there are a few sides better at that. One veteran for another, Vialli for Hughes. Early. Di Matteo. Petrescu. Nice feet. And now here's Roberto Di Matteo. And Chelsea have got 6. And that's really rough on Sunderland. Perez beaten twice in the final 2 minutes of the game. And it's going to look like a real thumping. When in fact Sunderland have caused problems for Chelsea throughout the afternoon. But Roberto Di Matteo wasn't in a forgiving mood. No charity from him. 6-2. Peter Reid, who was surely dismissed too hastily by Manchester City, making a good fist of things with Sunderland. Not their day today. Chelsea extend their unbeaten run in the Premier League to 11 games here. Stretches back 5 months to October. When they click, they do so spectacularly. Roberto Di Matteo among the scorers, 2 for Hughes, 1 apiece for